fuck with us. What we posted every Friday. See them corn emojis, then you know a nigga wild. I'm a jaded Gemini.
As a Mexican, we don't claim him. No, and I don't blame you. He only went over there to hide from this. Here, I'll even put it back a little bit more so you can hear some of her testimony. But she calls him out for laughing and like just thinking this is a joke.
She knows what happened and she doesn't care. Janet is just one of the few people who have tried to protect him, and the others will now know exactly who they are. The pain that the defendant has caused me is indescribable, and it worsens every day. Being used by somebody who meant the world to me has left me feeling more hurt than I've ever been before. I am now 19 and my life hasn't been the same since I was 15. I think about these crimes every single day.
Bruh, 15. 15, bruh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm just like, bro, you laughing, you pleading guilty, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what the hell? What is funny about that?
This isn't like Twitter Me Too allegation. I know I'm not claiming. Bro, you're in court.
You're getting sentenced.
Not the court of public opinion either, bro. Like, wow.
I feel like I'm in a constant dark place. Sometimes I wish I could disappear so I can forget about what happened. Right after I reported him, my parents sent me to a therapist. So far, they have spent $7,620 in hopes that she can help me move forward from this. These crimes have especially impacted my relationship with my aunt. For a while, I could not fathom how my aunt had no idea what was going on, and that made me doubt the trust that I had in her. To this day, there is still tension and awkwardness between her and myself. Every time I speak to her and look at her, I think about the defendant and what he did to me. My relationship with my aunt will never be the same, and that breaks my heart. My whole family is hurting because I am hurting. Their trust in my aunt has been affected too. My aunt blames herself for leaving me alone with the
Nah, and that's the thing that really is like messed up with these celebrity-esque cases is because it's like, how can you not blame yourself as the parent and shit? Especially when you have parents like the R. Kelly girls and shit that are out here that are willingly selling their kids to these type of men. I can see
what the fuck about this.
It's funny. That's what I'm saying. Like, what is hilarious about this? Like, what is there to even snicker about?
I'd be really shitting my
I'd be shitting bricks if I was him. Like, what the hell? This is crazy.
My brother should have been begging for his life.
And then my parents blame themselves for placing their trust in my aunt to protect me and keep me safe. It's awful to hear me say that. Every night, I dread going to sleep because I don't want to see him in my nightmares. I have lost many nights of sleep because of this.
Oh my God.
I've lost count over how many times I fell asleep in class when I was in high school due to so many sleepless nights. I also occasionally had to leave school early due to having panic attacks that were triggered by these incidents. During these panic attacks, I would struggle to breathe, sweat, shake, cry, and often faint.
Damn.
When I do sleep inducing in my nightmares, it throws off my entire day. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bruh, he is so... Bruh, I didn't even see that part. He is a piece of crap. Are you kidding me, bruh? This girl is having a whole breakdown. And he laughing at her. Bruh.
Yeah, he's tweaking, bro.
This is so messed up, bro. This is so messed up.
These crimes have affected my dating life as well. Every day I have since gone on has ended with me going home crying. Every time I feel the slightest bit vulnerable around a guy, all I can think of and see is the defendant. I have serious trust issues because of him. Dating your teenagers should be a fun experience and should not be something that brings up trauma caused by a grown man. The defendant's crimes against me are the worst things that he could have ever done to me. He was such a huge part of my childhood, and in return, he ruined my life. Back when I confronted him, he told me that he didn't want me to hate him. I don't hate him.
Why do they say that? Like, they always say the same lines. I don't want you to hate me. You just ruined her life.
She's just the one that spoke up.
I know there has to be more, because if she was 15 and now she's 19, that was what? Like,
I don't know, but that was 4 years ago. But Drake and Josh was
Drake
on
and Josh
TV,
was canceled a long time ago. That's what I'm saying.
And
like,
he's
there's way
fucking
more.
What, 40 years old?
Bruh, not that old, but yeah, he's up there. He's way too old to be talking to her. Period. Like, I don't know.
He's got to be like mid-30s by now. So
now I would like to ask you something important. Whether a person has a lot of influence, some or none at all, these are crimes that are unforgivable and inexcusable.
Right.
They can never be taken back. He was calculating. He preyed on me and sexually abused me. He is a monster and a danger to children. I am kindly asking you to send a powerful message that these crimes are never okay, no matter who a person is. I also want to bring up the letter that I wrote to you. In my letter, I explained why the defendant is not remorseful for his crimes. I described how he has publicly found humor in them and how he has used tactics to gain sympathy from the public. He could have easily ignored the people online who were mocking this case.
No, because for real, why did you go to Mexico and do all that extra ass shit? You was trying to be funny. Like, now that I think about it, I don't think he really was being serious with it. I think he was being fucking funny.
Instead, he went out of his way to
going down there to keep doing this type of shit.
This type of stuff, yeah.
I mean, it's perfectly plausible. He already has his foot in the door of any type of gig like that. But now this hopefully will change that. But dude, you got to think about the person that was producing their show.
Right.
And
yeah, he was on that type of time too.
So honestly,
and then it makes sense.
He probably is the product of a shitty environment.
Now it makes sense why Josh didn't invite him to his wedding and stuff. Like, because this is around that time period. It's like, bro, you got stuff going on.
That he thinks it's funny, and he can give me that look all he wants. He knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Period.
The crimes that
she had to get him in check. Like, bro, do not look like that.
My suffering is not for him to laugh at, or his leverage to brag about becoming a good man now that he is a father. So today, if the defendant tries to tell you that he is remorseful, I am asking you to appreciate that actions speak louder than words. Since his arraignment and plea hearing, his actions have been loud and clear, and they have shown that he simply does not care and does not have an ounce of remorse. I won't be surprised if he tries to manipulate everybody into believing that he's changed, but he can't fool me. If he is truly sorry for anything,
bro, I'm sorry, but
he is sorry.
Even if you did change, bro, that doesn't change what you did. And that doesn't change what she still has to live with.
Exactly.
I hate when people try to act like, okay, I've changed, so there's no consequences or repercussions for what already transpired. Like, alright, dude, you have to acknowledge it regardless, but she's still currently dealing with this, clearly.
No, for real. And even like Latoria said, I can't believe he was everybody's fave on that show. If you think about it, this is the character he played on Drake and Josh, the quagmire, the womanizer, the ladies' man. Like, this,
if we look
bruh.
we probably see some parallels too.
And I've heard all time, well, not heard like personally, but I've seen so many like little videos of behind the scenes stuff about Drake not being so nice to work with on set and shit. Like, bruh, I was not surprised that his ass was sitting here smug. I want to say, yeah, they're about to show his face. Okay, bet. I'm about to say, because y'all need to see. He was literally smiling, like.
He has finally been caught. I can assure you of that. He committed these crimes against me with pride. A defendant who clearly feels no remorse for his crimes deserves to be given the maximum sentence possible. I will never forget what he did to me. I idolized and looked up to him, and he took that and broke it in the most sickening way possible. He is the epitome of evil. I deserve better than to be used for his sick desires and for my suffering to be used for his amusement. Jared Drake Bell is a pedophile. And
Jared.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You know he is.
Oh, she about to get into it. Watch this.
Anything further on behalf of the state? On behalf of the defense?
Oh, hold on. We
Check
gotta
this out.
add
I'm
y'all.
gonna show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready?
Bro, you
Ready?
guys.
Alright, 108.
Nobody asked
Girl, you selling stamps. Shut up. Watch this.
Thank you, Your Honor. First, before I really get into the sentencing, I would like to recognize and acknowledge the professionalism that was shown by my colleague Kevin Brinkman and his supervisor Jennifer Driscoll in allowing us to really process this case over a long period of time. While the case seems that
Bro, Drake is so fake, bro. I'm just looking at him.
His fucking face.
Yeah, like he's so
punchable
fake,
right now,
bro.
dude.
Like, I don't
it
know.
went so quickly.
He better be
from
glad
arrival
that
to
he's
the
like
sentencing,
where he's at.
because the work was done on front. I do appreciate their working with us
In a
to
country
effectuate
with due
that.
process.
You know, there's no question that Drake has accepted his
Nah, call him Jared,
responsibilities,
bro. Nah, for real.
Sounds better.
He's pled to the felony of the 4th degree, attempted child endangerment, and a misdemeanor disseminating, neither of which require any sexual registration.
Mm.
The chat that was referred to by Prosecutor Brinkman was the dissemination, and that did create a risk of harm to then minor, now.
This is basically what Charlemagne did. Just plead down to some way lesser shit, and then niggas can't even really talk about you legally in a certain type of light anymore.
Right.
For the prosecutors asked that I just refer to this person as victim, so I will do that for purposes of this hearing. You know, there have been a lot of
Yeah, he's trying to hold
claims
back
that
a
were
laugh
made,
for sure.
by the victim here,
Looking
and
irritated.
it's not often, or can I even recall an instance where defense counsel at sentencing had to address the credibility of the victim's allegations at sentencing. But this appears to be that time. I will simply say this, some of these claims that were made about sending photos of genitals, we went through these claims with the prosecutor's office for a long time, approximately 18 months. No such image was presented, either to the state.
What the fuck is going on?
Or to the defense. The claim that he is a pedophile lacked.
Bitch, so why are you pleading guilty?
That's what I'm
Stop the
saying.
cap,
What the
nigga, because if
hell?
you had any type of fucking recollection, way to prove that this motherfucking pedophile motherfucker didn't send that shit, you would never plead guilty to that shit. Bro, you would have to fucking cut my throat.
No, that's
Before
what I'm
I ever
saying. I
plead
would
guilty to that
never
shit.
plead guilty to that.
He just don't want to go to prison because he know if he does not plead guilty
Oh, they gonna
and they
push.
take that shit to
They
trial
gonna
for real,
push.
he's
Mhm.
fucked. Come on,
Look
bro.
at his fucking face,
You
bro.
stupid as fuck if you believe that shit.
Lacks any sort of factual support from the case, and it also lacks any sort of mental health claim. It's an easy
Okay.
tag to give someone, but doesn't fit in this case. Clearly, the victim in this case, and again, it's difficult because it's hard for me to walk the very fine line in this case between what he did and what he's being accused of doing.
Oh my
That which he
lord.
accepted
The fine
responsibility
line.
for, and that which he would never accept responsibility for.
Okay.
So the acceptance of the responsibility, Your Honor.
That's what we're saying. So what exactly are you accepting responsibility for if you're saying that that's not what's occurring?
That's not what I'm saying. Why would you accept responsibility
Yeah, that's
for
what
any of
No,
this
but that's
shit?
what they just asked.
Okay.
So yes, you guys are saying that's what they just asked.
Is for chats that occurred between he and the victim. The subject.
What was the subject of the chat? Did it have fucking pictures in it? Is this kangaroo
Bro,
court?
no,
What is this?
Bro, that's what they do.
Are you
They
serious?
basically, they say, no, I didn't walk down the street. I traveled down the street.
I'm glad that there's people actively like, okay, so what the fuck are you trying? Like,
why are you cross-examining a witness inadvertently when there's already the judges that are down here in fucking Florida would have okay, nigga, since you want to cross-examine the witness, we're gonna throw out your deal and we're gonna take this shit to trial.
Yeah, because that's what you want to do.
No
obviously.
more deal. No more deal. Because not only are you trying to plead to lesser, you're trying to, in the same breath, act like the whole thing never happened.
Right. That's why it's like, okay, so then if you're saying it didn't happen, then what are you pleading to?
Why are you accepting
the chats.
papers?
Okay, well then what is in the chats if there ain't no freaking eggplant pics? Like, even her face is how we all looking. Like, what the hell?
Wait. Those chats were going, well, there's a lot to it. So there was discussion because they had known each other for years.
Why?
There were claims that became...
Why do they know each other?
Okay. You said he's probably mid-30s since he's not 40.
Bruh, I'm 25 and I don't know a 14-year-old. I don't know a 15-year-old.
4 years ago, he would have been, what, 27, 28? Why have you known a 14-year-old for quite some time?
That's what I'm saying. I am 25. I do not know no 14-year-old.
What is quite some time?
He needs to go to church.
Sexual in nature. When asked, however, at what point,
he looking like, please don't say it.
At that point, he said, "Can you hurry up?" Which shows a complete intent not to engage with a minor. So, however, those chats, harmful as they were.
She said, but he did. Like, we did, though. Like, we've been intimate. What the fuck?
Clearly harmed this person at that time.
Why is he getting the opportunity to say
those were, yes. Thank you.
He's 35.
He certainly, however,
thanks.
did not mimic any of the factual scenarios that the victim has brought up here today.
So he was 31.
And again, I have to emphasize
that's
that
disgusting.
once the age was known, that terminated at that point, saying hurry up with the age. But I will say this.
So basically, he's trying to say, like, they talked all that time, and then finally the age came up, and he was like, damn, you need to hurry up and turn 18. That's some bullshit. That's the first, and I know all the girls, women watching this around the world right now know that that's the first thing any, like, responsible adult male would do is ask you how old you are.
He was 30 years old.
You are 30 years old, and you expect me to believe you didn't know? What in the James Charles excuse is this?
It's all right, dude. I take great solace in the fact that I know his sick ass can't stop. And he's gonna get what the fuck is coming to him,
exactly. It always
they
happens.
They can never stop.
They can't help themselves.
And normally I would be like, man, fuck. But bro, you getting away a little bit too easy, and I know that not only this judge is gonna fucking bite this shit. Whoever
now, the judge is about to give somebody a reality check. Ooh wee. Bro, we're here. We're here. They talk about, so you mean to tell me you talked to this girl for all this time, but you didn't know how old she was?
You don't know who. You don't read your analytics, bro. You don't know that little teeny bops.
That's why I'm like, come on, bro.
Realistically, there's a reason why you had to leave America, bro.
At the start, he may not have known. He did learn of the age at a later time, Your Honor, and that is why he's accepting the plea.
That's a cap.
Yeah, during the chats, Your Honor.
That's a cap.
Yeah, okay.
All her lawyer has to do is get the dates on the chat. Are you really about to lie under oath, my boy? All they gotta do is get those chats. Look at the first time it got sexual, and look at the first time that they said her age.
Actually, you can't.
You can't. It's an active. You can't. Yeah, not yet. It'll be public once it's closed, but
I'll post exactly what the fuck he sent.
So the state defense would agree the age was mentioned during those chats, Your Honor.
Wow.
So, Your Honor, other than this offense for which he's pled guilty, this court is aware that there were 2 OVIs, but nothing ever similar to anything like this. We would ask for basic community-controlled sanction, which would then be transferred to California. That certainly would be sufficient pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 29, 29, 11, 12, 13, and 14. because in this case, recidivism does not appear likely, and nor does the severity of it outweigh any similar offenses by similar offenders.
I'm mad he just said that dumbass shit, but I'm not even gonna get into why that was so fucking toxic. This motherfucker said recidivism won't be a problem.
And said that this isn't severe, basically.
Recidivism, for one, fuck it. Let's get into it then. Recidivism primarily is targeting marginalized groups. Kind of the same like racism argument, right? Why the fuck, in this case, yeah, usually it wouldn't, with him being not, a marginalized group. But being a pedophile, the chances of recidivism are not only likely, they're fucking exponential. How could you in good faith say that shit?
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
How could you?
From this, and again, this is where I'm just going to take this responsibility for making the record straight. I'm sure it's not going to be, the victim in this case is not going to like what I have to say, but we are aware that that therapy did not begin with Drake. This began before. Throughout this case, and this is why I think that the plea is very accurate and very fitting, and all parties agreed to this, including the victim in this case, was aware of this before this day and approved of this plea. Clearly, she, according to a lot of the statements that were provided in this case, worshipped and kind of held herself out as a super fan of Mr. Bell.
Okay.
There were no claims at all of any sort of inappropriate conduct until the victim in this case learned of Mr. Bell's fiance, now wife. And at that point, that's when everything kind of turned her world upside.
Bruh, she about to snap on Drake ass, bruh. He over there smiling all smug, like, yeah,
I don't know why
he
they're
really
getting
think
the
his lawyer working
opportunity
here
to
ass.
cross-examine inadvertently, not the witness. I don't know why, the victim, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's why I had to correct myself earlier, because I'm like, she's
When
not a witness, she's a victim.
You're
for
pleading
real.
guilty.
Right.
You should, that's like if I murdered somebody and I was like, I'm going to take 25 years because I know if I take this shit to trial, I'm going to get that needle for real. And
But the whole time, I'm a badger of the victim's
wasn't
family.
Me begging for my life to the judge and apologizing to the family, begging for my life. It was me saying, oh, well, that fuck nigga I killed was a fuck nigga anyway, and he shouldn't have really shorted Daniel for those drugs, and he really shouldn't have been talking shit in the field, blah, 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 blah. He really had it coming, but we're only taking them 25 years because the DNA evidence was just a little bit too substantial to say I wasn't there. How the fuck does that sound?
In going through all of these statements and all the witnesses in this case, I will just simply, I'm trying to do this in as gentle a manner as possible, but there was certainly concern for the victim's reality in her case and in her claims thereafter.
What? So they're trying to say she's delusional?
The claims as to
they're trying to say he
Janet
got his
Bell,
Oh, that's so messed up. She's about to cry.
exchange online that was happening. We had provided a video to the prosecutor's office from Miss Bell. She explained why she spoke to the victim the way that she did. She explained that she was just trying to appease her and trying to let her believe that she was just being heard because she had difficulty even talking to her about it. So this was not anything that, as the victim somehow believes now, was genuine by Ms. Bell. This was an attempt just simply to diffuse the situation, which, in hindsight, they clearly judged correctly as a dangerous situation.
You know,
I'm not sitting here
lying
today
when they
just
fuck
to
up my
minimize
routine ass
Right.
like that.
conduct of what Drake did.
Or that might
But
be
what was
accident.
accused here today, what was
But
brought
his
up
name
here
is
today
not
was a
Drake.
far other world from what we, the state and the defense, had contemplated prior to. Since the time of her allegation, when she claims that this happened, she went to 9 additional concerts that he was at. She would message him saying, I did.
Bruh, it's called grooming.
I
Like,
was
what
about
the
to say,
fuck?
That is a child. You know that your fans be childs, bro. You know your fans are children. Like, what in the fuck is the disconnect, really?
No, for real. There was another part where she snapped on his ass.
Relations.
he pled to endangering.
Dude, that
Damn,
judge.
that hurt. But that's the truth.
Do you want me to get your toothbrush?
Goddamn.
I don't even know.
Attempted endangering children and disseminating matter harmful to juveniles. These are serious allegations, but they do not involve sexual relations.
Exactly.
However, a grown man does not engage in inappropriate text messages to a teenager.
Period.
There's a reason why a 14 or 15-year-old does not have the right to drive.
Look at his
does not
fucking
have
face
the right
now.
to vote, does not have the right to serve.
This shit just changed up. You see that
They
shit?
don't have the emotional or mental maturity to properly gauge their conduct.
Of course they're
So
gonna
you
fucking
did
try
take
to.
advantage in
You
that
did.
regard
Right.
to somebody who could not appreciate the consequences of the relationship or lack of relationship or inappropriate relationship. Now, I respect your attorney. He talks about that your position has exacerbated the harm that befallen you because of all this publicity.
I don't give a fuck, because in that same breath, that all that weight should make you want to move differently. All that weight should make you conscious of how you interact with others, because that could fucking knock you down. Like, that just tells me entitlement. Like, if I was a judge, I would have been like, oh, you're an entitled ass motherfucker, because you didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I brought up R. Kelly, because he had all that
She don't even have
hair.
all that weight.
Wow.
But once again,